Hello, my name is Jackson Bingham. Welcome to the new FC Golf Podcast, where I talk about everything high school golf, around the conference, professional world, and FC golf also. These podcast episodes will give you all the insight to what the golf team looks like this year and next year, and maybe next years after that, after people leave. Let's get started. The segments are around the conference, FC golf news, and professional world. My name is Jackson Bingham, and FC Golf has been a part of me for a while now. This is my third year doing it. Um, it's a fun atmosphere. We just love um in the conference and also out of the conference. Out of the conference teams are usually the ones that we can win against, but our in conference is very, very, very competitive with these guys. You talk about competitive. You have top teams like Zionsville, HSE, Fishers, Westfield and Brownsburg, mainly Westfield, Brownsburg, and Zionsville are mainly the teams that we have the most struggle with because they're just so good. They also live on country clubs. They do all other stuff. It is just like one of those kinds of teams that you just really can't like screw up with because if you do, you're just going to get blown out by probably like 40 or 50 and it's just not going to turn out well. I know a guy on our team who played against Brownsburg and he played against Speedway last year and he just was like, I just was just like, dude, these guys are just so good. Like, I don't know how we can just beat these guys. Honestly, how it takes it to beat these guys is that, like, you got to have that mindset and confidence. Like our coach says, you got to have the open mind, but also the confidence, I will do this. He has these statements of the I will do statements. And these I will do statements are helping us right now because I feel like we are becoming a better team than we were 2-3 years ago. Last year, we really weren't that great. We didn't have really that senior status that we will have this year and next year. Our seniors really weren't that good last year. But honestly, we have one senior that is good, and we have one senior, Reese, who isn't that good. But honestly, he is putting in his effort, and he's shooting lower than he has besides yesterday when he shot that 64. But honestly, like, you look at that 64 and you look at his averages this year, and his averages this year are 40s, 50s, no 60s. This is his first 60 that he's had. And honestly, it's just like, dude, good for you because you've came through your hard struggles through your whole high school career and you finally found something that works. If we just look at Aaron, how he's just like that great overall player. He honestly plays like Bryson DeChambeau because he has that long drive swing. He has the good iron play. But when it gets to that chipping and putting, he just can't do it. And honestly, Bryson plays like that too, but Aaron just needs to figure out a way to basically not do stupid shots because this dude is a long driver. When I mean he's a long driver, he's hitting it 320 to 340 consistently. He's cutting fairways. He's taking shortcuts. He's doing whatever he can do to score as low as possible. But yet he still has the bits of his game that he just needs to improve on, which are those just tiny bits of, like, maybe club face, maybe just, like, ball striking, like, hitting that more repetition, getting that more repeatedly. Yeah, honestly. Now, but if we look at scores from yesterday, Josh and Lance had 44s. Ray had a 43. Aaron was the low scorer of the match with a 41. Like, Franklin's guy had 42 and did it. We're Franklin Central. And the teams that we played yesterday were Franklin Community and Franklin and Whiteland. And honestly, we looked at Whiteland, and Whiteland only had two good guys, which were Will and his buddy that played with him. And honestly, it's just like, it gets to like one of those points to where it's just like, these teams aren't that good and we can, but we just have to have that confidence because if we don't have that confidence, then you will not be good, and you will hit those shots that are bad. You have to say, I will do this, or else you're not going to succeed with your golf shot. Like, golf is one of those things where it's so mental in the head that you have to just turn your mind off and just focus on the game, because if you're not, you're gonna screw up these back shots. You're gonna not make these runs good. You have to make a good run. Like, it's just it. But let's get to the SC Golf news. That was the intro part. SC Golf news: the Flashes lost against New Pal yet on Tuesday, 178 to 159. Me personally, I can't report on that because I was not there at the match. I wish I could have been, but I was in a practice round getting ready for Thursday, which honestly did our team a favor. But I was just one stroke off just from that double bogey on the last hole, which honestly I hit my shot right, and then I hit it kind of left. It came off the club face weird. I also am struggling with golfer's elbow right now. So it's just like, it's so hard because it hurts. It doesn't hurt, but it just like jacks up your swing. It makes your elbow really tight, and it makes it to where it's honestly kind of really hard to do anything with it because you don't want to screw up a shot. But honestly, we look at my shots from yesterday, and they were really good because the third hole, sorry, I drew it, and it just didn't end up very well. And then we look at this, and we are on the green, and we're on the green in 4. We're on the green in 3, and it's just like, you don't want to get mad because you know you can hit a great shot after, but we lost 178 to 159. That was our first 9-hole match of the season. We can do better from there. Just like yesterday, we only lost by 10. We cut it down from that 19 to that 10. Oh yeah. So like how we could have won was hole 1, you have OB to your right, and you kind of have that OB to your left. Hawksdale is a very skinny course, and hole 2 is a par 5, goes back. Hole 3 is a par 3. Hole 4 is a par 4. Hole 5 is a par 5. Hole 6 is something. But anyways, like, it is just, Hawksdale is just one of those courses where it's a very easy course, but you still need to make sure that you're doing stuff because honestly, like, we look at this and that we played last night, and like, every shot that you take is going to count to your scorecard no matter what. Like, no matter if you do this or this, because that's per IHSAA rules. Okay, now we're on to Saturday. Saturday at Martinsville, I am going to Foxcliff and Martinsville. 5 golfers will go to that match. We look at, and we have 3 guys that are going to prom, so I'm easily sliding up into that 3, 4, 5 spot. So yeah, and we look at this, and so the course for Saturday is Foxcliff, and let me get it pulled up here. We're playing from the tips, so honestly, it looks like we have trees just a little bit. Front 9 is very long, kind of. Yeah, it's a very long par 3 for hole number 2. Hole 3 is just a long par 4, like very long. 417, that's average for these varsity matches right now. But dude, it's just, you want those par 4s at the like 390 to 400 range. You don't want 417 to 440 like I've seen. This next par 4 is 426. Like, that should be not being played from the tips. 171. That's not a bad at all. Then you look at hole 6, par 4, 433 yards from the tips. Very long hole. Like, you have to hit a 250-yard drive to be 160 yards out, which is still not close at all. And there's water on the left, and it's just very long. This front 9, hole 7, 510 yards. Just a basic hole here. I mean, you have water way far right. It's just trees. Nothing too bad here. Hole 8, the number 1 handicap hole on this course, hardest hole. A lot of trees on the left side, and then when you get to up around 120 yards in, you have a lot of, honestly, 199. If you say you hit a 190-yard drive, you put trees into play, but if you don't, then you're fine. There's just a lot of trees on the right-hand side of that. Trees don't really come into play here until hole 9. The par 5, 504 yards. Very straight hole, just trees in the middle. It's kind of normal. Hole 10, very, very long. Back-to-back par 5s, 603 yards from the tips. That is going to be a bogey or a par hole. Just very short. No, not a very short. This is a very long par 5, 215 to the back, depending on where a pin is playing, and 200 from the middle, 187 from the front. Hole 12. If you can hit a good shot, say right side, right side of the fairway, then you can get a good shot. No, if you hit one left side of the fairway, you'll have a great shot into the green. Just a couple bunkers that you'll have to deal with, but nothing too bad. Hole 13 is 454 yards. Very long par 4. Very long par 4. It's like 230 to reach the tip of the fairway. That's abnormal for some courses, because honestly, those other courses that you play are going to be like 150 to reach the fairway, not 230. Like, that course is just very, very long. Very, very long. This course would be very tough. 207 yards going over water for some, but honestly, I think we can get it done. Hole 15, very short par 4, 303 yards. Not a hard hole there. That should just be an easy birdie hole. 501 par 5. That's actually kind of a shorter par 5 than what we've seen on this course so far. I think it is the shortest par 5 that this course offers. Par 5, 501 yards, hole 16. It's a very wide open hole. No trouble here. Just houses on the right. Probably a little bit of OB. Hole 17. A very short hole. If you can hit your driver 250 right down the fairway, you're gonna be 69 yards left right into green. So honestly, that's not a troublesome hole for you. It should be an easy birdie, easy par. Nothing much more than that. If you get much more than that, then you're kind of in trouble for that day. Then we start out with a 390-yard par 4. And that's actually not bad, because the 390 par 4s are the best kind of par 4s that a course should offer. And another thing about Foxcliff is the interesting thing. So you know how much courses have their turn, and it's just you have to walk a little bit, probably walk 30 meters to the next tee box or whatever. No, this one is a whole mile to the next 10th tee. This is actually terrible. This is actually probably the longest walk that you're going to have to a tee box in probably your golfing career, because that is just a very, very long walk to the next tee box. Let's look at the around the conference. So we switch from the FC Golf News. Good luck to everybody who's playing tomorrow. Congrats to all those 10 folks that qualified and made their run for that varsity spot. Good luck to you guys. Good luck to the JV going up to Fox Prairie, the Bob Spacey Invitational. That course is very long, very tight. Um, just have fun, and play your best. Around the conference, FC Golf is at Legends yesterday. Whiteland and Franklin. Avon will head to the Bob Spacey Invite. So will the FCJV. Fishers will also head to the Bob Spacey Invite. Zionsville will head to the Invite at West Chase on Saturday, or the Lake Central, um, to also the Lake Central Midwestern Classic for the varsity. HSC will head to the Spring Showcase, um, and Noblesville will also be at the Bob Spacey Invite. Like 4 teams that are going to be at Bob Spacey Invite from our conference. That's just because Noblesville hosts it and they love HCC schools in their tournaments. Yeah, so I mean that's around the conference. Honestly, there's great golfers in our conference. I mean there is some of the best competition I have seen for a while. It is just one of those great conferences to where honestly you want to see everybody do good. But we are in that top 5 conference in the Midwest, maybe even the best conference in the Midwest. There is a lot of competition that goes on in this conference. I can't say it enough. This is one of the, if not most hard conferences that FC Golf is in. And it is just one of those conferences to where it is very hard to get that conference championship because we're not in the MIC or the or the HHC. Like we are in the HCC, Hoosier Crossroads Conference, and this conference may be the hardest conference in Indiana, if not the hardest, and most likely the most toughest conference in the Midwest itself. I'm saying Kentucky, Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois. Like, this is a tough conference. Now, moving on to what all you guys want to hear is the professional golf world. The top 3 in this RBC Heritage Tournament is JT Poston, unknown golfer that I know. Seamus Power, a very good golfer. Colin Morikawa, the only American that is in this top 3. This weekend is the RBC Heritage, which is at Harbortown Golf Course in Hilton Head, South Carolina. Honestly, if we just take a step back from looking at the professional world, honestly, most of you guys who would probably listen to this podcast would probably agree that Hilton Head is one of the best golf destinations in the USA besides Branson, Missouri, besides Oregon, besides desert golf in Arizona, Nevada, and New Mexico. Hilton Head is probably, if not the best golf course on the East Coast, has one of the best golfing destinations I think I have ever seen, because you have Harbortown, you have Kiowa Island, the ocean course, which is sitting right on the ocean. And then I think if we talk about golf destinations on like the eastern part of the United States, you have the South Florida golf courses like Cabot Secret Farms. Then you have just all those golf resorts down in Florida, South Florida, and northern Florida also. We look at the East Coast, you have Hilton Head, and you have other courses in like North Carolina and all that around the coast. Then you go into Michigan, which you wouldn't think Michigan would have that good of golfing, and it does. You have Arcadia Bluffs, you have Baytown Golf Club, or Bay Harbor Golf Club, and honestly, those 2 courses are the nicest courses I have ever seen. Then you have the Rocket Mortgage golf tournament in Detroit every year. That is another good golf course. And honestly, it's just one of those things that the United States offers. Honestly, Indiana's a very good golfing destination because you have Victoria National, you have Sultan's Run, you have the Valley Links down at French Lick, you have the Pete Dye course down in French Lick, you have the Speedway, which is at IMS, the Brickyard Golf Course. You have a lot of these great, unique courses that you wouldn't think Indiana would have, but they do. Honestly, this has been a good. I mean, honestly, the USA has some great golf courses and will put out more. I want to see more come around the United States. Like Tennessee has Fairfield Glade. They have 6 courses that you can play as a tournament, or you can just put them all into a package and play all of them. Well, my name is Jackson Bingham. Thanks for tuning in to the FC Golf Podcast, and I will see you next week. Charge up, FC.